impact of lines in photography. We move on to diagonal lines. So diagonal lines can be created by painted lines, architectural features, triangles, angles, fences, mountains, curves, you name it. You can create a diagonal line in your image by changing the perspective or angle of a straight line. So look for natural angles in the landscape or the built environment. Our eyes naturally view an image from left to right. So a diagonal line from the bottom left corner moving to the top right of an image will have the greatest effect, but definitely not required. A diagonal line is dynamic. It suggests perspective, creates a sense of action, leads the eye, and implies depth. So you use a diagonal line to draw your viewer's attention to a specific feature or point of interest in your image. Numerous diagonal lines leading in different directions and intersecting can add a sense of action to your photo. However, too many diagonal lines can create chaos and confusion. So here is just a curb, of an unbuilt either building or house or something, and then museum sign. So I just photographed that because of the angle of the curb and then the point of the hand of the museum.
That one also is jumping out with the red color.
Yeah.
From the base structure to those pipes that are capped in red to the red museum.
It's all point. It's like
so
much red.
I know. It's like, I love that. And
me too.
So color is as important in this one as that line.
It is. And again, normally I don't do color, but I found this one definitely had to stay color.
Yeah.
There's no question, because it's red and white,
Yeah.
with the green in the background. And yeah, I loved it. Here, New York, and I just loved the diagonal line of the fountain, kind of pulling you to the sailors. And I found that was a powerful, impactful image, because it's obviously very meaningful for them. And I thought that the viewer can just be drawn again from the bottom left to the middle right to the top right. And this one I played with it a bit. It's a little bit more, what would you say, powerful. It's kind of playing with your perspective, because normally you won't have the arrow pointing towards you, but I thought I'm just going to play with this, because then you also have the lines from the ray of the sun just kind of pulling you in various different directions. So this is where I just played with the curb and the building.
Was this a cell phone shot again, or was this with your
This was with the big girl camera with a wide angle.
That's where I was going.
Yes, with my
what kind of wide angle was it? Like a 20?
This one was the 16 to 35.
16.
Mm-hmm.
So super wide.
Super wide. I adjusted it a bit in Photoshop to play with the perspective, but yeah, this is good old wide angle in order to get all of that in there.
And yeah, so that's like, you can't do that with a 50 or a normal lens to create this type of look. So
again, play with the vertical or the size of your lens.
Yeah, and luckily even with our cell phones now, like my new iPhone 12 has like this ultra wide setting, and it's pretty darn incredible for getting images.
Is it?
This, yeah.
Okay. I gotta save up for that one now.
You got to. I love it.
Sounds amazing.
Went from the 10 to the 12.
Yeah,
made a huge difference.
Okay,
but you
I
can
still have the 8.
Yeah, but do you have any add-on lenses for your cell phone?
I don't right now. But what do you recommend? The Moment?
Yeah, I love the Moment lenses because you buy a case and then you don't have to keep buying the lenses over and over again. So you jump from your 8 to your new phone, you just get a new case and the lenses are working with it.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty
something
fun
to keep in mind. Yeah.
But I tell you, I'm not even using any lenses with this camera because the 3 lenses are pretty crazy.
Okay.
In a good way. So wide angle is something to explore.
It is. It's fun, especially with architecture.
Yeah.
It's
or distorting of people.
The distorting of people. I mean, you can play. That's all it is.
Yeah. Exploration.
Exploration. And then some more diagonal repetition as well. This was in Seattle at the Space Noodle. This was in Winnipeg at the Museum for Human Rights, and the architect designed like these amazing walkways that kind of intersected, and it was more so the walkways were a chance to kind of reflect on what you saw. So it was beautiful, and it really kind of intersected and created this unique pattern when you look down.
And I love the framing on that, the bottom edge, how you have that dark edge rather than cutting into the line above, which would have just been a little bit more bland. So it's grabbing our eye and really starting us in the movement across the bottom of the frame, up to the top of the frame, and then down to those people.
Yeah.
So it really helps to move our eye even further with that contrast there.
And I decided I kind of kept the angle to the right and kind of parallel to the bottom. So then the angles that are created from the pathway is already, it allows it to kind of be represented on its own. Angles everywhere. I love it.
Me too.
And then this is just a simple sort of, handrail, stairs, angles. I'll play with architectural features.
Whatever's in front of you. It doesn't have to be the most dramatic thing.
Be dynamic. Just if you want to play. This was a different angle of the rainy day in LA. I took a few images and you'll see them kind of interspersed throughout, but this one was just, the angles of the fencing, putting that pillar on the angle as well, and kind of some reflections everywhere. So change your stance, change where you're looking, and if you want to look up or if you need to change lenses, do that too. But work a scene in various different angles, perspectives. Don't just choose one. This is just, kind of creating diagonal lines with every day. So during the pandemic, I've been going for lots of walks, and one of the paths that I go on has this bridge that crosses the river and a beautiful perspective of the church. And I love the angle of the bridge leading you to the church. And then this is just in New Mexico with beautiful sunsets there and power lines, creating a diagonal image. And then Vegas.
So on your New Mexico one, that's also a silhouette.
It's also a silhouette. So yes.
Backlit and everything goes to black, which is one of our technical images that we need to
create
for class.
Oh, perfect.
So that's what a silhouette looks like.
Yes.
So thank you.
And I mean, play with it in Photoshop too, but that was pretty much it.
Color is beautiful.
Color. Oh God, the sunsets were gorgeous there. I guess
Yes.
And then Vegas, just with the airplane line.
Yeah.
Chemtrail or whatever it is.
Hopefully not poison.
Yeah, hopefully not. But it looked cool.
It does. I love them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make the whole series just off of those, abstractions in the sky.
Yeah, exactly. A friend of mine actually did. He just kept documenting the lines in the sky. And
share a link with me so I can.
Yeah. I will. It's Kevin Kemner. I'll send you the link.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's an architect. Used to live in Vegas.
Okay.
And then here I'm playing with triangles. So the Louvre. This is during the Las Vegas document walk, and I just found the triangles and the angles of the way the man's sitting, his hood, the shape of the tent, everything was just triangles. And then just the shopping mall here in Guelph. So I kind of put the three together. Like, they're somehow so different, but they all have a similar pattern in terms of the angles and shapes that are created there.
Yeah, and that's interesting too. From the glitz to our everyday to
to life on the street.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Make images wherever you are. And this was definitely the one in the center during the Las Vegas document walk. That was hard. That was
very powerful image.
Yeah. And just so many people living or trying to live on the street.
The numbers are growing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I know. So then here using angles, just with kind of river's edge, leading you to a bridge in the distance. Like here you've got, again, the river's edge leading you to a tree. And more kind of water features. This is just playing with angles and kind of diagonals that are just created in the landscape there, whatever you see in front of you.
And these are all screaming man and nature.
Yeah. Yep.
So a common theme
in the natural environment. Yeah.
So things to look at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and to think about while you're making the images, like how is man impacting the image? So many of us just want to get out and shoot nature by itself, but really that's less and less of a thing that happens. You can make a great statement with showing how we have impacted or merged with the landscape.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if you have any in here, but how a lot of times nature takes back what man has created.
Yes. I don't have any of that, but
somewhere.
There's definitely, I know, I tried going through so many. I do have it.
It's just not here.
It's just not in here.
Things to think about. So you got, and you're always thinking about all of these things. Every time you see something, it's like, oh, common theme. Oh, compositional element.
Yep.
And
all of these are cell phone.
Yeah. It's amazing.
The one obviously top left is the Hipstamatic, and then the other ones are just regular camera, and bottom left is edited in Lightroom. And
yeah, that bottom left image is really powerful and dramatic, and I just love those scraggly trees and then those hard lines. It's like, oh, I could look at that for quite a while.
Textures. And I kind of found, in a way, the bottom two similar in a sense, but different. Just the angle of the trees meeting the angle of the road, and
the swoop of the cloud and the
with
the water.
It's there's just simple, again, cell phone, use what you got, and just play. And then here again, so just some more angles. This is architectural. Again, I use contrast to try to accentuate the features. This is just at an art gallery. And I kind of thought the angles at the bottom similar to here. And then just angles at, of the actual door frame itself, kind of playing with triangle there. And then here we've got angles found in nature. So this is basically just a hill here in Guelph. There's not a lot of hills. It's more of a mound. But I liked sort of just using it as a separation with the sky and looking up.
Meditative and calm.
It is just and I kind of discovered it on one of my walks. I'm like, there's a hill. And of course I have to take a photo of it. Because that's what I do.
Oh, and then this probably isn't true here, but the day that you don't take the photo of something when you think you should, and you go back, that hill
it's not there.
Down.
Or the other times where I see something, I'm like, oh, I got to take a photo, and I get my phone out, I take my gloves off, and I'm all ready to take the photo, and suddenly it's like, it's gone. Or someone's standing in my way. So do it as soon as you see it.
Make the image.
Yeah.
Totally.
And then, of course, the two on the left, that was in Alaska, with the dramatic mountains. And I kind of like the angle of the ship on the bottom, and with the angle of the mountain kind of draws you in up. out of the scene. So from the bottom left to the middle and then back down to the right. Yeah.
Yeah, that little airplane flying over top. And
Yeah.
I mean, and that's creating a triangle in the
With
composition as well.
Yeah.
The boat to
The implied
yes,
angle.
the
Yes.
implied.
Yes. Physical or implied.
There we go.
And here in Amsterdam, this is just a architectural feature next to the Modern Art Museum, but they've planted a field on it, and it just, I love it. So, you know, again, draws you to from the bottom to the middle and then back to the guy just standing there and creating more of like a separate image on the far right than what you see and back and around. And then this is just more of a diagonal image found in Greece at an old archaeological site. And yeah, so that's it for diagonal lines.